Be able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. Please fold your hands and repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavada Sevaya Bhagavadi Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavadi Naishtigim. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse number 22nd. So you can repeat after me on these verses. Purushassa partha parapartha
Purushassa paraha partha
bhaktya labhyasta ananyaya
bhaktya labhyastvananyaya
yasya andhastani bhudani
yasyantahastani bhutani
yena sarvam idam tadam
yena sarvam idam tatam
Purushassa parapartha
Purushassa paraha partha
bhaktya labhyasta ananyaya
bhaktya labhyastvananyaya
yasya andhastani bhudani
yasyantahastani bhutani
yena sarvam idam tadam.
yena sarvam idam tatam.
Please recite.
Purushah sa paraha partha
Purushah saha parapartha
bhaktya labhyastvananyaya
bhaktya labhyasta ananyaya
yasyantahasthani bhutani
yasyandhastani bhudani
yena sarvam idam tatam.
yena sarvam idam tadam.
Purushasa parapartha
Purushasha para partha
bhaktya labhasyatva ananyaya
bhaktya labhyastvananyaya
yasantasthani bhutani
yasyantahasthani bhutani
yena sarvamidam tatam.
yena
Yena
sarvam
sarvam
idam
idam
tatam.
tadam. Go ahead. Anybody else?
Purushasa paraha partha
Purusha saha
Purushasa
Paraha
paraha
partha
partha
bhaktyalapya tavanyana yaya
bhaktya
bhaktya
labhyasya
labhyastvananyaya
ananyaya
yasyantasthani bhutani
yasyandhastani
yasyantahasthani
bhutani
bhutani
yena sarvamidam tatam.
yena
yena
sarvam
sarvam
idam
sarvamidam
tadam.
tatam.
Anybody else? Okay, so we'll go word by go ahead. Anybody else want to recite? Okay, so we'll go word by word meaning synonyms. Purushaha, the supreme personality. Sah, he. Paraha, the supreme than whom no one is greater. Partha, O son of Pratha. Bhaktya, by devotional service. Labhya, can be achieved. 2. But Ananyaya, unalloyed, undeviating. Yasya, whom. Andasthani, within. Bhudani, all of these material manifestations. Yena, by whom. Sarvam, all. Idam, whatever we can see. Tadam is pervaded. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although He is present in His abode, He is all-pervading, and everything is situated within Him. Purport. If anybody would like to read the purport, please go ahead. We'll move one by one each paragraph. At least 3 paragraphs. 3 devotees can volunteer. Please go ahead.
It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna, the Supreme Person. The Brahma Samhita describes this supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. All the variegatedness manifest there is of the quality of spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material. That variegatedness is expanded as the spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead Himself, for the manifestation there is totally of the spiritual energy, as explained in chapter 7. As far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in His supreme abode, He is nonetheless all-pervading by His material energy. So, by His spiritual and material energies, He is present everywhere, both in the material and in the spiritual universes. Yasyanta sthani means that everything is sustained within Him, within either His spiritual or material energy. The Lord is all-pervading by these two energies.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Very clear. Anybody else? Please go ahead.
To enter Krishna's supreme abode or innumerable Vaikuntha planets is possible only by bhakti, devotional service, as clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya. No other process can help one attain that supreme abode. The Vedas, Gopala Tapani, Upanishad 1.21, also describes the supreme abode and the supreme personality of Godhead. Eko Vashi Sarvagaha Krishna. In that abode, there is only one supreme personality of Godhead, whose name is Krishna. He is the supreme merciful deity, and although situated there as one, he has expanded himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. The Vedas compare the Lord to a tree standing still, yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. The plenary expansions of the Lord, who preside over the Vaikuntha planets, are four-armed, and they are known by a variety of names: Purushottama, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, Sridhara, Vasudeva, Damodara, Janardhana, Narayana, Vamana, Padmanabha, etc.
Yeah. Thank you, Mardana. Last paragraph. Anybody else? Go ahead.
The Brahma Samhita 5.37 also confirms that although the Lord is always in the supreme abode, Golok Vrindavan, He is all-pervading so that everything is going on nicely. Golok eva nivastati akhilasma bhutan. As stated in the Vedas, Sweta Upanishad 6.8, Parasya Saktika Vivididan Sradyad Swabhavika Jarna Bala Kriya Cha. His energies are also expansive, that they systematically conduct everything in the cosmic manifestation without a flaw. although the Supreme Lord is far, far away.
Yeah, thank you so much. Jay Prashpaji, nicely reading. Mataji. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayham Dadadi Supadam Digam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudabadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunadhanidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalitam Sri Vishaghanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanul Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktum Sahaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvinamadidastu Ma Vidushavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much. We were going through the 8th chapter, the second part of the Bhakti Yoga section, devotional service. This chapter is titled as Attaining the Supreme. So we were reached up to the section of 22nd verse. Here the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is revealing the details, the knowledge of his abode, the Goloka Vrindavan, and who can attain there. So here Supreme Lord saying, who is greater than all is attainable by unalloyed devotion. So unalloyed devotion, ahetuki apradihada, unconditional, unalloyed, unmotivated, uninterrupted. When somebody has that such loving devotion for the Supreme, he can attain that the Param, that Supreme Dham, the Param abode, the Supreme abode of the Supreme Lord. Krishna is saying that he is also present everywhere. He is also present in his abode. He is all pervading. He is situated. Even everything is situated within him. Nothing is inseparable from him. Nothing we can separate from him. So Krishna is manifested through his two energies. One is Para, Prakriti, or the supreme energy in nature, and there is another one is called inferior energy, that is Apara Prakriti. So this Prakriti or nature in two, one is Para, the supreme, and another is Apara, the inferior. So his potency is expanded everywhere. In the Purusha Sukta, it is all the demigods went up to the Supreme Lord, and this Purusha Sukta means the praise of the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Personality, the Purusha. It says that Sahasra Shirshaha, the Supreme Lord has Sahasra Shirsha, innumerable heads, thousands of heads. Sahasra Shirsha, Sahasra Purushaha, Sahasra Pada. Lord has innumerable legs, innumerable hands, innumerable heads and eyes and the mouths. We will see that later in the 10th chapter and 11th chapter beginning, that Krishna is showing his universal form. And Arjuna could see everything is within him, even all the planetary systems, all the universes, all the demigods, all the living entities. Even Arjuna could see himself in the universal form of the Krishna. So why it is giving us this such a deep and the form in such a way that the Lord himself revealing to Arjuna. So Arjuna, in order to Arjuna understand that he is not even separate from him. So everything is happening according to his will. Everything is his potency. It's like as we know that when the sun setting, that everything is dark. But as soon as when sun rises, everything is enlightened. Everything is bright. So like that. So when Krishna is there, everything is there. When Krishna is not there, nothing. Then we cannot say that Krishna is not there. There is no question of that. Krishna will be always exist. This is very important to understand, dear devotees, that what is our position, why we are thinking differently, why we are always, rebellion, why we are always questioning all this, aspect. So why we became like that? This is a great question we can all ask ourselves, why we are not understanding this fact. So yes, we are all bound by this material nature, the modes of material nature, the Maya, because of our own, the ego, the false ego. We are biting our own bullets. Sometimes we see that, okay, let me get more into this material world, let me try to do here and there, all these things. But really we are biting our own bullets. That means one point of time it will turn back to us. And that's what is happening to us. Not understanding this transcendental subject matter. So we know that this chapter is entirely titled as the Attaining the Supreme. And here Krishna is revealing that who can attain the Supreme. So let me ask you this question, since we are all here. So we were going through various verses in the beginning section of this chapter. Can somebody say that who all can attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Anybody? Please unmute. Can you tell me who can attain the Supreme? It's all these verses were telling that who can attain the Supreme. I will give a hint. In the first section, actually in the 5th verse, in this chapter, Krishna is saying that one who does that, he can attain me, he can attain the Supreme. No doubt into that. Who is that? Anybody knows?
Prabhuji, is it Hare Krishna, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Is it the 4 kinds of people that they were talking about? The inquisitive?
No, that was in the last chapter.
Oh, okay.
Here, very clearly. Anybody? Any other bet?
Anybody can attain the Supreme with doing devotional, unalloyed devotional service.
Wonderful. That's one answer. Who else can attain the Supreme? I mean, that is the ultimate of everything. That's the conclusion of all. But Krishna is giving a very step-by-step ways that we can reach up to that unalloyed devotion. Krishna is giving a very beautiful, procedure, step-by-step process that we can attain the Lord. Okay, so let me tell you, repeat. Yeah, go ahead.
One who surrenders.
One who surrenders, of course. One who surrenders unto the Supreme, he can attain the Supreme Lord. Definitely. Wonderful. Anybody else? Okay, so let me let's recap, right? Krishna is revealing this to Arjuna, who can attain the Supreme. Krishna is beginning with that. Whoever at the end of his life quit the body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. There is no doubt. See, Krishna is giving that very clear-cut answer. At the end, when quitting his body, the time he remembers, he meditates upon, he remembers him, at once he attains the nature of the Supreme. He attains him. So Krishna is telling the Arjuna, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me. And this is the close, right? That means one who practices this, as it won't happen overnight, but as the seed we, sow, and when we seed, and that grows, and that grows, and that grows, that become a tree, and it become, matured. So we have to practice this devotional service, and then when we practice this and reach up to that stage that we can always remember Krishna, dear devotees, that this is known as we are entering into the spiritual realm or spiritual platform or spiritual abode. I'll explain today that what are the different stages of that, how we can attain that, and what we say when we say spiritual. What is that? In MVCC, when we had a program, one time one person asked question. When we say the spiritual, what it is basically? And he said, we have spiritual body, So what is it consist of? What it's made up of, the spiritual body, when you say? What is that? So I'll come to that in a little later. So Krishna says that one who always think of me in the form of Krishna is very, very important, dear devotees. So you have to always worship and meditate upon that Supreme, the beautiful form of Krishna, Shyama Sundara form. One who unalloyed devotion, such devotion, always think of him. He will definitely able to remember Krishna, or it is mentioned that Krishna will make sure that, he is able to remember him. Krishna further says, he who meditates on me as the Supreme Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he is sure to reach me. So there are various ways, like somebody takes this path and then some point of time they deviate. They goes here and there. They will not attain the Supreme because there is no unalloyed devotion. So we have to have this unconditional, unalloyed devotion to the Supreme, never deviate from this path of Krishna consciousness. One who never deviate from the path of Krishna consciousness, always thinking of Krishna, that Krishna says in the 9th chapter, 34th verse, Manmana bahumad bhakto madhyaji ma namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam de pradijane priyosi me. Krishna says he is very dear to me, one who always thinks of me, offering the obeisance unto me, worship me and become my devotee, and he will be very dear to me. And we all know that there is no doubt, dear devotees, that the Supreme Lord, and he is the ultimate, the Bhagavan realization. His name is Krishna. Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. His abode is in the Golok Vrindavan. He is the personality, he is the Supreme Personality. His name is Krishna. And Krishna is revealing that here, you should worship me. Why? It's not that, Krishna wanted to get something out of it or something. This is for our own benefits, dear devotees. We are suffering in this material world. Birth, death, old age and diseases, no matter what. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyati, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam, irrespective of all the conditions, even you put it in your, like a shell that, there is, even death can come. Even we know that Parishit Maharaj, even Parishit Maharaj was ready to die. Parishit Maharaj was ready to die. But all his relatives, all his soldiers made such a way, that such a arrangement that even not a single insect cannot enter into that kind of arena. Parishit Maharaj, all the other relatives made this arrangement that the Takshaka was about to kill, the curse was the Takshaka was, will kill Parishit Maharaj within the 7 days. They made all the arrangements. No snakes should come, especially his son Janamejaya. Parishit Maharaj's son was Janamejaya. He made all the arrangements that not even a single insect can enter into that, the complete protection that made by the Janamejaya, his son. But no matter what, Takshaka entered and broke the barricade, and Takshaka ended at the time like a fire, and Takshaka entered as a small atomic, and Takshaka had such a potential that he can take any form, and there was little entrance, and he entered through, and then came and bit Parishit Maharaj, and Parishit Maharaj burned to ashes in a minute because of that was the poison of the Takshaka. We know that later Janamejaya was so much furious, and he made an arrangement of a homa, and he invited all the snakes, and within that fire, and all the snakes were coming and burning, and then he got the curse and all. That's a different story. But my point is, nobody can deny, nobody can take anything out of this, that the janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha anudarshanam. So it is birth, death, old age, and disease is there, and this world is full of suffering. So it's very important we understand this fact. We are all temporarily here for some time. We say maybe for 60 years, maybe for 70 years. So what is next? So dear devotees, this is our opportunity. This is our wonderful opportunity that we can realize and understand all this, so that we can attain that abode of the Supreme Lord. So then we never returns. And Krishna says that, right? Brahma bhuvanir lokir punaravartin arjuna mamupetedu kaundeya punar janmana vidyade. Brahma bhuvanir lokir. From the top planetary system to the Brahma, even Brahma has to die. And then he has to take, depends upon, he has to take another birth. Depends upon what the will of the Lord. When Brahma bhuvanir lokir, even down to the Patala Loka, Brahma bhuvanir lokir, punaravartin arjuna, dear devotees, this is going on for billions of trillions of lifetimes. When we may take birth again and again in this world at the time of like Brahma's lifetime, like 311 trillion years, and Krishna says that, right, in this chapter, like 1,000 yuga cycle is a day, and similarly there are 1,000 yuga cycle as the night. The living entities are taking birth again and again and again and again in this material world. They are in different forms, different living bodies, but still everybody has to go through this janma. They have to take birth, mrityu, the death, and in between jara and vyadhi. Can anybody say that we are free from all this? Can anybody say that we are happy in this world? Can anybody say that we are perfect in this world? No, we are not, because of we are what is called, we are sheltered ourselves within this this material energy. That means we decided that to be okay, be here in this material world. And that is the truth. We are here in this material world while we are living here on this planet. Death is changing the body. The soul is eternal. Death is just changing the body. So then where this soul goes? So like that, when we are living on this planet, similarly, then there is a place that the living entities goes. If the living entities doesn't liberate and he can become a ghost. He goes to the higher planetary system. And when the living entities did some pious activities, he can go to the higher planetary system like Sorgaloka. When the living entities does some kind of impious activities or the vikarma, forbidden activities, which he create lots of sin, or that what we call that against the will of the Lord. Sin is nothing but we are acting against the will of the Lord. Then he has to get punished. So then he has to go down to the lower planetary system. And in that lower planetary system, there are various, in the Bhagavad, Srimad Bhagavad explains that there are 28 hellish planetary systems. 28, and each one is named. There is Kumbhi Bhaga, there is, like that. There are so many planetary systems which is named each one. And that's what it is. One who execute when he is on the living, when he execute these impious or the sinful activities, he has to go down and live there. Brahma Bhuvanir Logir Punaravartin Arjuna, then they have to live there for some time, then they have to take birth again. One who has not liberated, dear devotees, this is the condition of these living entities. But Krishna is revealing this transcendental truth and absolute knowledge is the soul, the spirit soul or eternal. Originally, we are all with the Supreme Lord, but we came to the material world with our own, to fulfill our own selfish desires. We take various body accordingly, and then we go through these various planetary systems, one after another. And like 311 trillion years is the Brahma's lifetime. Then everybody goes back to the body of Mahavishnu, stay there for who knows that how long will be there. And again, when the creation starts, we all come back into this material world again. And this goes time immemorial, dear devotees, since time immemorial, it goes on. So it's very important fact that we understand this. We are eternal, but we are in this material world, using temporary bodies for long period of time, one after another. 8.4 million species of life in this material world. So Krishna is revealing to us that the supreme confidential knowledge, that beyond this material nature there is a spiritual abode, a spiritual nature, dear devotees. That Krishna says that, right, in the 7th chapter. Apareyam idasto manyam, apareyam idasto manyam, pragradim vidime param. Apareyam ida. Beyond this material nature, there is another nature of mine, O Krishna, O Arjuna. That is my supreme abode, superior nature. Right? Krishna is revealing that. So it's very important to understand that these facts, and only in the human form of life we can realize and understand this, that all this transcendental science, the knowledge, the real knowledge. So if you don't understand, dear devotees, what is happening is, according to our material desire, what the consciousness we have at the time of death, that consciousness, we will attain that form, right? And Krishna says that, right, in the 6th verse of in this chapter itself, that whatever the state of consciousness one has, he will attain at the time of death. The time of death, whatever the consciousness he has, he will attain that. Surely he will attain that. So that's what is going on in this world. See, we are, entire Bhagavad Gita is focusing on this fact that we are, going through various bodies in this lifetime. But beyond this material aspect, beyond this material world, there is a Param Dham, there is a supreme abode, there is a superior nature that always exists, which is eternal, always exists, never deteriorate. That's why Krishna is known as Achyuta. Achyuta means he never deteriorate, never falls, never come down or never decay. That's called Chuda, means is always deteriorate. Achyuta means never deteriorate. He is complete. Our eternal nature is also like that. So how do we understand this? I mentioned that how do we understand this, that we have this eternal nature. So what is the proof of it, right? So many times people ask, can you show me a proof there is a God? Can a same way likes that, can you show me a proof that there is a spirit soul, there is a spiritual nature, likes that. So dear devotees, I mean, it is very, very wonderful to understand and realize this fact. So we know that we are all manifesting from where? First question, ask ourselves, where do we come from? But this is the truth. We are the realities that we exist in this world as in the different forms. But all this come from very minute, that atomic particle, which we don't even see it. And the Bhagavad explains that what is the minute atomic particle means, which is, that further cannot divide anymore. Any particle which cannot divide anymore is that the smallest of the particle we say. And we know that the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained that the spirit soul is 1,000th of the part of the tip of the hair. 1,000th, I mean, sorry, 10,000th part of the tip of the hair. That means so minute, so even cannot see it. And it cannot cut into pieces. It cannot burn. In the second chapter, right? Nainam Chindandi, Sastrani, all those. Na jayade muryade vakata jinyayam bhutva bhavita na bhuyade. The soul does not come into being, come into being, and will not come into being. It will not cease, it cannot burn, cut, nothing. But we know that spirit soul exists in everything. And we know that even if you take an atom of a seed of a tree, the entire tree is actually crafted within that minute spirit soul. Entire tree. And within that spirit soul, everything manifests. The small seed is like that a human sperm. The entire human is coming from that one. So like a cow, that small, that little sperm in the cow is coming. So everything is there within the background, dear devotees. That's the first thing to understand. But we don't see it. We don't understand it. But those who have such a, such a spiritual, understanding, and they reached up to that spiritual point, they can see it and understand this. And they can reveal all this. That's why Krishna is revealing all this to us. Krishna is the supreme. Sages and devotees, the spiritual, and they all reached up to that point, and they can see things. So like just for an example, we say is that, this is from how much grows, and from the grows to settle. And then even that we stop there in the settle form and then goes, there is nothing beyond that. Srila Prabhupada gives that one beautiful example, that the soul is so active in this human life all these years. Do you think that this soul is so active and at the time of death and everything is finished? Srila Prabhupada asking this question. No, we are not. So soul continues. The journey of soul continues so nicely. So soul grows from the gross, like we have a gross body. Yes, definitely that transforms into this Panchabhutas. Then what happens? We have a subtle body, that is mind, intelligence, and ego. That does not, diminish at the time of death. That also continues with the soul. So how do we see that these dimensions of the soul, if the soul is there? I would give that in an example. There is a photography called Kirlian photography, and it was quite some time ago, like 30, 40 years ago. They came up with this photography, is called Kirlian. It's an actually capture the photo of very subtle forms of it. And they capture this photo of a person who is in the deathbed. And he's capturing this. And how this soul is passing this body. And this Kirlian photography can capture that the image of that the soul, that it's like a light, right? It's like a light. That's a photographic image of it, and it's leaving from the body. That can see it, but we don't see it. And let us say that's one we say is that we have this gross body, like we say, like that's a two-dimensional or one-dimensional or two-dimensional, or we say there is this different state of matter. We say like, the water is there in a liquid form, water is there in a solid form, water is there in a gas form. And then maximum they come up to this point and they say, okay, what is now the state of the fire? What is the state of matter of a fire? So the scientist came up and says that, okay, this is a plasma. This is not matter. This is not solid. This is not liquid. This is not gas. But this another state, they call it as a plasma. And then they don't have any other concepts of it beyond that. But our Bhagavatam explains that. What do they say about the mind? That's another state of all these dear devotees. What is the senses? In what state it is beyond explanation, right? What is our power of our eyes? Yes, it's a flesh and everything. And what is the power of in our ears that everything captures? And our ears can capture almost like 20 billion kind of, 20 to 20,000 hertz of the frequencies of the sound. Our tongue can capture like billions of various taste buds are there. And that's what is, scientists are mentioning. So what is all about this one? And where it's come from? We know that we have a brain. We don't see it. But we know that we experience that. We don't see it, but it is there. It's functioning in such a way that it captures the memories. And even our childhood memories are actually captured within that brain. Right? So these are all different state of, the realm, we call it as a plane or different state of the same, functions of the same soul. Different functions in a different realm. That's what it is, Krishna's Parasya Shaktir Vivideva Suyadev. Krishna's potency is in all. He is inseparable from everything. And he makes it possible, all this possible. And think about that, there is nothing behind it. It's all just accidentally happening. It's such a foolish things, right? Any simple, thoughtful person can think all of these things. So everything is there, but in a different state of realm or different state of planes. So like that, dear devotees, that when we are grossly situate, that's what is always bodily concepts like eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, then we don't come to that state of understanding. Then, okay, if we get further, we get into that. Okay, we come out from the bodily concept of life. Now we are little more advanced. Yes, we are able to control our bodily needs. We are able to control our sensual needs. Now we are able to control our mind. And that's what is dear devotees, that in order to control our mind, that's what is we are practicing all this bhakti yoga, the processes or mantra, chanting mantra, so that we are able to control our mind. So once we are able to control our mind, then we can progress further. And when it goes beyond, then our consciousness that the soul, we are come to that's called self-realization. We come to that point of realizing that supreme potency, that the potency of the Lord, that Atma. That's why, many yogis, many rishis, and many sages, they control everything and they come to that state of self-realization and they realize they relish immense bliss, immense happiness, and they completely, they can see things. How? Because they come to that state of that pure, that, self-realized state. There they can see the Supreme Lord, there they can see the beyond what is happening, this material nature and everything.
This is the chair.
And here it is. Here it is, the Supreme Lord.
Now
Can you put on the mute, please, who is speaking? I'm sorry. Okay, so here, then with this unalloyed devotion, that we can reach up to that level of our original spiritual constitution. Original spiritual constitution, dear devotees. So only it is possible, not with the Jnana Yoga, not with the Karma Yoga, not with the Ashtanga Yoga, but that are all the ways. But we can reach up to this spiritual original constitutional position, that spiritual position that we are all can be come to that point. That's why purificatory process, that's why we are, say, purified, or we are realized ourselves, the self, or we call it as a yogi. In different names we call it as. So this is possible. So Krishna is revealing that, yes, we can come to that state of the original spiritual consciousness, and that, then they are above, they are beyond this material nature. They are beyond this, all the sinful activities. They are beyond all these material conceptions of the life. They can come to that state of original, the spiritual constitutional position. And there, then they can attain the abode of, because of they are now purified enough. And that's why we are taking this birth. That's the purpose of that, our existence, that to purify our existence by this process. So only by that process, Krishna says, only by that process of unalloyed devotion, that one can come to that state. Unless and until one come to that state, that means, what is that? How we know that we come to that state? One can constantly chant the holy name. One can become Krishna consciousness. He will always engage into the loving devotional service. He will always relish into that bhakti processes. He will always meditate upon Krishna. He will always think of Krishna. He will worship Krishna. He will does all these possible things while, executing his duty as well. If you are a grihastha, you have a duty to perform. While executing this one, he will also continue this process. And then our acharyas explain, especially Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, that in this age of Kali, the best way to come to that state of Krishna consciousness, that the surrender, that's we mentioned that surrender. What is that surrender means? Surrender means that take up this process like this way, unalloyed devotion. That's surrender. When we have unalloyed devotion, we are able to remember him at the time of death. When we have unalloyed devotion to the Supreme, we always think of him. When you have unalloyed devotion, we'd always worship him. And if we don't have any of this thing, all these material qualities, and okay, let me do this one, let me enjoy on this one, let me go here, let me take this one, let me see, we have mixed up everything and we go away from Krishna. But when you have this pure bhakti, and at least we can practice. We are all sadhakas, of course. We are not reached up to that point, but because of this, and with this, the process of bhakti, hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, by the mercy of Krishna, that we can attain that position. So that's why we are studying this. So dear devotees, definitely there is a different planes and realms. In the Brahma Samhita, I start with Krishna says that Krishna in the Goloka Vrindavan is considered as 1,000 lotus petal, like a lotus, which has thousands of lotus petals. And then the wall is in the middle. Brahma Samhita explains so nicely. In that middle, Krishna and Radha and Krishna, and only Radha and Krishna in that middle. Everybody else is on the nearby plane, and along with Krishna. So why it is mentioned that this 1,000 lotus petals, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj mentioned that this 1,000 lotus petal is actually is a realm of there's even the spiritual realm. There are different realm of that one, and in order to attain that, the Krishna. So we are seeing these different planes. We say, like, we say Sorga Loka. It's a different plane. It's not that like an earthly plane. People cannot explain it, or scientists cannot see it on their own eyes. They don't explain it. The plane of sun globe, it's a different plane. And there, even the living entities are even in the midst of the sun globe. Living entities are there, but they live according to that nature. So like that, dear devotees, there is a spiritual nature. There is a spiritual abode. It's completely spiritual. It's completely eternal. That's why Krishna says that one who reaches my abode never returns. And Krishna is giving so many ways how we can attain Krishna, how we can achieve that, how we can attain Krishna. So it is so wonderful and so transcendental knowledge that Krishna is revealing to us, dear devotees, and we should take this. And this is our opportunity. We don't know when the death will come. Death is considered as an uninvited guest. We never know. But we have this human form of life we have with us today. And we should pray to Krishna that please engage me in your service. Please allow me to remember you. Please allow me to hear about you. Please allow me to engage in your devotional service. Please allow me. Rather than spending all our body and efforts, our endeavor, our energy to all the other things to satisfy our senses and mind, these are all temporary things which goes away. But we are wasting the precious moments of our life. Bhagavatam says that Shubhasya Shikram. We never know. We never know. Subhasya Chikram, we have to start this process, we have to understand this process, we have to take up this process in our life, dear devotees, in order to attain Krishna. We never know that when we are going to have this human body again, or whether we get it or not. No guarantee that. But Krishna says that even little bit if we do in this lifetime, Salpam Abhyasya Dharmasya Trayado Mahado Bhaya, even if we do little bit in this human form of life, we will be saved from the most danger. That means that we, from the death. So this is very important that, dear devotees, that topic, that unalloyed devotion, we should all take that unalloyed devotion in our life. Doesn't matter what is happening to us, but dear devotees, the most important thing that if you are not able to chant the holy name, if you are not able to remember him, if you are not able to associate with the devotees, if you are not able to engage in his loving devotional service, if you are not able to do service to the Krishna and the devotees, that's the most dangerous thing. But we have to practice and put our all endeavor, all of our efforts to, come to that at least some extent, so that we develop this devotion, this bhakti. The ultimatum of everything is bhakti. And we can come to that point, and then Krishna's mercy will come upon us, and then we can gradually attain him. And Krishna will also promise us that I would carry the devotee, whatever they have, I'll protect them. My devotee never perishes. So, dear devotee, is very important that Krishna's words and the promise, he is there, he is the Supreme Lord, he is everything, he is everywhere. And it is because of his mercy that we are here and listening this Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that what Krishna is speaking, that's only by mercy of him that we are able to do that. So this is our greatest fortune. This is the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And Krishna is, Krishna, that means that, Krishna cares us. Krishna is, caring for us. Krishna is giving us an opportunity. Krishna is always seeing us. And Krishna is the most pleased. That if one soul is turned towards him, he is the most happiest person. And Krishna says in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, every lifetime he look at soul. In this lifetime, even he is coming to me. And when he goes away, he will become so sad. And then he looks at each and every soul like that. This soul is turning towards me in this lifetime. The moment he turns towards him, Krishna put 100 steps that somehow or other to bring back that soul to him. So this is what is Krishna, dear devotees. He is so Bhakta Valsala. He is known as Bhakta Valsala. He is known as Dina Bandhu. He is Kripa Sindhu. He is for devotees. He is very dear to his devotees. So Krishna is so wonderful. So all we need to do is nothing but just have that desire, just have that consciousness that, oh Lord, please engage me in your service, and never ever that, how that, should not go away that from you, and please engage me always in your service. That should be our prayer. And if we have this consciousness, dear devotees, with our humble and, transcendental nature, that, Krishna is always, and we can attain him. So let me stop here, and I think I went over a little bit. Sorry for that. Thank you so much for being there, and Hare Krishna. So let's see that are there any discussions or anything anybody would like to add? It's always nice to hear from the devotees' realizations, and thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Are there any comments? Any questions? Any concerns? Nothing? Go ahead, let's have some discussions. Let's also hear from you. What is your realizations? Wow. So silent? Nothing?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat
Dandu
Pranam.
Pranam. Dandu Pranam. All glories to Shri.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very nice class, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
And I got that point that, that you attain Krishna by, remembering him at the last moment, that is one thing I've heard again and again, and we try our best that, we seek, we pray that, at the last moment we remember. But out of my recent experience, with my mom, I feel that it's very hard, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
Though we say that, yes, even throughout her life, she had served Krishna, she had heard so many kirtan, she had done so much of Vaishnava Seva. But the pain and agony that the body feels at the end, I feel it's very hard to kind of do that Krishna Smaranam, at the end. So I feel that, I think if it's just the association, or if something at the end, if somebody helps that soul to remember, then only it kind of helps, or I think we can start praying to Krishna that I might forget you at the end, because of my bodily pain.
Yeah.
But you don't forget me, or you just help me remember you, I think that is the best prayer we can do,
Yes.
so.
Yes. You reminded me as incident happened in a Guruvayur temple. I mentioned that this before. There is it happened in a temple of Guruvayur, and there was a small boy. He lost his parents in that the very early age, like 6 years old or something like that. He doesn't have anybody, and he didn't have anybody to take care of him. He was starving, and he was struggling, and he somehow came to he was little far away, and he came to this temple town of Guruvayur. That's a temple town, and he knew that there are a lot of hotels and all. This little boy walked towards this place, and he came and approached a hotel, a restaurant, and he said, all you need to give me is a little food to eat, and I would do whatever you tell me. So that was his desire. And he was then, this shop owner, he's okay, allowed, there is a, he was doing all his work, cleaning jobs, everything, and he was a little boy, and then he slowly grown up. And he was, passing one day in front of the Guruvayur temple. He just looked at inside, and he got attracted to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna there. So next day he went inside, and he's so attracted to the Lord. She's so attracted to the Lord, and now then he just walked around, and he saw that there are different sages, this sadhus were sitting there inside the temple reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So he just sat there, and his name was Venkat, and he went there and sat there, and he was listening this beautiful, the glories of the Supreme Lord. So he attracted so much. Now he left that his job, and he is actually now inside the temple. Whatever he is getting from the inside temple, the offered prasadam, and he was taking, and all the time he is listening this is Bhagavad Gita. And every day he goes to the temple and see the Lord, and what is his praying? Same as you mentioned, Mataji. It's very true. And he said that, oh Lord, that all my praise that at the time of death, I should always remember you. At the time of death, that I can remember you. So his all prayer was this one. So he then, he was completely kind of purified, listening and hearing this Bhagavad Gita. He's within that temple itself only. One day, he just went inside the temple, and he looked at the Lord, and he just put a Sashtanga Pranam in front of the Lord. And then he he was, he's paying the obeisance in the Sashtanga Sashtanga Pranamam. And all the other pujaris were there by, why this person is not getting him? Usually, 1 minute, half a second, do the Dandavad Pranam and then get up and go. Like every day, that's what he does. This day, he looked at the Lord, he prayed at the Lord, he just put the Sashtanga Pranam, and then he didn't get up. And then everybody came and looked at him. He just left his body. Yes, this helps very much that we pray that Supreme Lord that please, please take care and please give me that opportunity to remember you always. And who can attain that actually? We have to practice that. We have to pray. We have to be purified and we have to be conscious of Krishna. And we have to, when we pray that such a sincere way, which our, sincerely, then Krishna will definitely help to that. And there are so many incidents that are there. Krishna personally come and takes the devotees. And there is so many wonderful experience there, dear devotees. So we wanted to give some philosophical explanations of this one. Then once we understand this, then we can get into that, the real pastimes of Krishna, his interaction with the devotees, how Krishna takes care of his devotees. And, especially there are so many incidents out there. Yes, I mean, we are sorry to hear, Mataji, yes, we mentioned that when we heard that your mother is passed away, we chanted the holy name on that day as well. And we heard from you that you were there and your other devotees were around and they were chanting the kirtan and, all some wonderful, tulasi leaves and all wonderful thing. And definitely that all helps. And I'm sure that they will attain Krishna. So there are in different ways actually. Yes, thank you. Please go ahead. You wanted to say something?
No, Prabhuji. Yeah, you are right, Prabhuji. I mean, that helps. Yeah. I mean, whatever we could do. Then it is in the hands of Krishna, So in her mercy and his mercy.
And another thing, and the scripture says that there are so many ways actually. Yes, this is one way. The another thing is one who, when he leaves the body, when he has a tulasi at him, he has tulasi around him. He has leaves the body with the tulasi leaves or tulasi twigs or all those things. He attains the abode of Lord Vishnu. We attain the Vaikunta because of tulasi takes that devotee to the Vaikunta. So that is the greatest of all. Tulasi takes that soul to Vaikunta. One who that's why, always we should wear the Tulasi Gandhi Mala. Yamaraj never approaches such people when he has the Tulasi Gandhi Mala on his neck because Tulasi is there. And Tulasi protects and mercy of the Tulasi is there. So if you put the Tulasi leaves at the time of death and the tank, or when we do the cremation time, we take all the dried Tulasi twigs and we put it there, and it's all scriptures, it's all our Puranas and scripture says, Vishnu Purana says that. And they attain all the abode of the Lord, and they definitely benefit with all this. That's why the Putri and the Putra, the meaning of Putra means, Pitra means one who actually, one who liberate the soul from the hellish planetary called the Putra. How that he is liberating is, taking all steps that to, helping the parents or the father to never get into that kind of, hellish planetary systems. How? This is the way. That means they do all the, rituals. They do all these, different ways that they can apply to the soul, and the soul get liberated and soul get an opportunity. We chant the holy name at the time when a person passes. See, this is what it is, at the midst of the holy name of the Lord. Wherever the holy name is chanted, Lord is there because of he is in everything. He is everywhere. He is there. And holy name is there. The tulasi leaves are there. The chanting of there, the picture, everything, the atmosphere of that devotional atmosphere, one leaves the body. The scripture says that he will definitely attain the abode of the Lord because of this is the mercy. And this is the greatest mercy that, devotees, many sannyasis, they pass the, remember that when the Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was passing his body, the same thing. It's not that, they are in the pain or some, yes, they are in the pain, but it is the mercy of the devotees, the mercy of the Lord, and this all been arranged, right? Yes, devotee may not be in the state of maybe in the coma, but the soul is awake, Mataji. The soul is awake. The body is but the soul is always awake, and soul has that purification, and soul attains that that mercy, that soul, goes back. So this is a proven thing, and so many ways that it's mentioned. So, and it's very true, and So yes, we as we are living, it is our duty that take care of and giving this opportunity to others, whatever way we can. This transcendental science impart this to the devotees and the people, so that everybody gets benefited, and everybody get we can all attain the Supreme Lord. That's why the chapter itself is titled "Attaining the Supreme." There's so many wonderful ways, wonderful things. Yeah, thank you so much. It's very nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Anybody else has anything to add? Okay. So let's conclude then today's session. Thank you so much. And please continue to join. This is amazing, and we cannot, any value that, that is invaluable, that immense, that transcendental knowledge that is revealing to us, and we all can relish. We can understand and deeply understand our existence, and how we can purify, we can engage in the devotion, and how we can attain this, how we can purify ourselves, and all the mercy. Dear devotees, think about not that we just temporarily put ourselves in this condition of various material activities. Some are so much in enmity, some are so much in jealousy, some are so much in anxiety, some are so much in anger, some are so much in illusion. So many ways we are in this world. But this only way that we can come out of all these problems of our life is actually, these are the problem anarthas, by this process of bhakti and devotion, and then we can liberate ourselves from these anarthas. Once we get the liberation, and then we can situate in such a way that to the fully the Krishna consciousness. In that Krishna consciousness, stage of Krishna consciousness, we can attain our spiritual form or eternal form. We can attain the Supreme Lord. So thank you so much for joining and being there. So let's pray our obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vancha kalpatarupasya Kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Gaur
Jai.
Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Guru Premanande Hari
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 Bo.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Sameshwar
Thank you,
Prabhu.
everybody.
Thank you,
Hare
Excellent
Prabhu.
Krishna.
class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.